بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. حلقة رقم 3 من حلقات الأفعال الاصطلاحية. تقدم في السابق عندنا شيئين، بأن الفعل الاصطلاحي ما يترجم فقط فعل كله على بعضه مع حرف الجر، قد ينحشر فعل اصطلاحي مع حرف جر ثاني 100% راح يغير لك معنى. ثالثة وهو مهم، لا تتفاجئ لما نقرأ فعل اصطلاحي على مدار 5 مرات أو 3 مرات أو 4 مرات على الأقل. ليش؟ لأن هذا يحتمل أن يكون إلى أكثر من استخدام في جملة. تمام؟ مثل تعودنا راح ناخذ 13 صفحة من 37 إلى من 27 إلى 39. تمام؟ فنقرأ بعض الأحيان نحتاج أن نترجم بعض الجمل، في عبارة عن تقدر تطور النطق pronunciation، وتقدر تطور مهارة عدم ترجمتك السطحية للفعل الاصطلاحي. فبقيت نقول crack out, produce a lot of something fast. My boss keeps cracking out to memos. Crank up inject non-medical drugs. He's been cranking up heroin for years. Crank up to the machine originally with handle. He cranked the shar up. Crank up, increase, make something bigger. I cranked the volume up as high as it would go. Crash out, sleep at someone's house because you are too tired, drunk, etc. to leave. Dave crashed out at a friend's flat after the end of term party. Crash out, fall asleep. I crashed out in front of the TV last night. Cream off, separate the best or most talented people so that they can receive special or different treatment. The private schools cream off many of the best pupils. Cream off, take money or divert funds, usually wrongfully or unfairly. This means a small bank can cream off access profits during lending booms. Creep in start to be noticeable. He tried to stay calm, but you would hear the anger creeping in. Creep in, get included despite attempts, or keep it or them out. Errors crept in, the next got longer. Creep in to become noticeable in something. An angry tone crept into her voice. Creep out, make someone feel worried or uneasy. He creeps me up when he gets drunk. Creep out on, to do the same activity for a very long time. He's been creeping out on that computer game all day. Creeping over, start to have a negative feeling. Fear crept over me as I walked through the graveyard. والgraveyard هي المقبرة. Creep upon on, or creep up on, approach without something realizing. They crept up on their rivals and overtook them. Crop up, appear unexpectedly. I'm going to be late tonight as something has just cropped up at work. Cross off, delete, remove from my list. She crossed him off her Christmas card list after they argued. Cross out, put as lion بسرعة, not a lion. The lion هذا أسد. L-I-N-E, lion. Lion أو الأسد السودي L-I-O-N. For cross out, put a line through some writing to show it is wrong. She crossed out her mistakes and wrote the correct answer above them. يعني شطبت شخطت. Cross up, confuse, deceive. The treasure map was deliberately drawn to cross us up. Cruise through, pass or succeed easily. That he cruised through the exam. Bas. B. Crumb. Crumb down, crumb, bas. Clear a table in a restaurant. The waiter crumbed, down before the coffee was served. Cry off to cancel an argument. An arrangement. I've got to work tonight. Can I cry off going out for dinner? Cry out, shall because you are in pain. He cried out when he dropped the box on his toes. Cut across, go across a place rather than around it to make the journey quicker. It will be quicker if we cut across the road, the park. Cut across affect people of different groups, classes, etc. They should cut across social background. It affect us all equally. Cut back, reduce. The film cut back production because sales were sluggish. Sluggish يعني بطيء. Cut back, remove branches from a plant or tree to encourage future growth. We cut the tree back every winter. Cut back on reduce expenditure or expenditure. Expenditure. The government had decided to cut back on spending the armed forces. Cut down, consume less, يستهلك أقل. I'm trying to cut down the amount of coffee I drink during the day. Cut down, shoot. A lot of soldiers were cut down by enemy fire as they stormed the airport. Cut down, reduce a vertical thing to ground level by cutting. The logger cut the tree down. Cut something from a high position. After Christmas, he didn't carefully detach all the decorations and he just cut them all down. Cut down on reduce. Doctor advised her to cut down on the amount of saturated I think saturated fats were الدهن المشبع in her diet. Cut in, start functioning. The fans cut in when the engine starts getting too hot. Cut in, drive in front of another vehicle without warning. A car cut in and nearly caused an accident. Cut in, interrupt. We were having a conversation when he came up and cut in. Cut in includes someone in a deal that makes money. We had to cut the police in on that deal to avoid trouble. Cut in, fix fat and flour until they combine. Cut the butter in with the flour. Cut in, cut it out. Stop your unfair or unresponsible or unreasonable behavior. Will you two idiots cut it out and keep quiet? Cut off this كنا. The telephone has been cut off. هذا هو زمن المضارع التام البسيط المبني للمجهول. وين الايدي؟ يا ايدي ولك شنو ايدي؟ cut ماضي مضارع تصفه كشمابي. يبقى because we didn't pay the bill. Cut off, isolate or make inaccessible. Inaccessible. The heavy snow has blocked many roads and cut off a number of villages. Cut out, exclude. I'm cutting out salt from my diet. Cut out when an engine or motor stops. The car cut out at the traffic lights just as they went green. Cut out, cut a picture or similar from a magazine, etc. I cut some pictures out to use as visual aids. Cut out, leave quickly. We had better cut out. The security men are on the way. Cut out. لاحظ. Separate livestock from a group. They cut out 3 prime bulls from the herd. اللي هو القطيع. Cut out on let down snub. Although he had promised to help, the star cut down on the charity when offered more money. Cut up, cut into small pieces. After cutting the tree down, the logger cut it up into logs. Cut up, drive into a neighboring lane directly in front of other vehicle. I was just driving onto the motorway slip road when the red Mini cut me up and I had to brake suddenly to avoid an accident. Cut up upset. Her reaction really cut me up. Cut up. لا حول أكثر من معنى 5 معاني. Have a lot of small injuries. إصابات. I cut my hand up when I broke the glass. Damp. أسأل M والبي عد تحتيها damp. تمام. Damp down. Make a fire burn less. They try to damp down the flames before the fire spread. Damp off when there is too much moisture and a plant is affected by fungal parasites. طفيليات. The seedlings damp off in the spring, if it's very wet. Dash down, write something quickly. He dashed down a memo and sent it to everybody. Dash off, leave somewhere quickly. It's late, I'm going to dash off home. Dash off, do something quickly, especially writing. He dashed off the report in a couple of hours. Dawn on. تمام. Finally realize or understand. ولك طبعا dawn عبارة عن فجر. Finally realized or understand something truly only dawned on me much later. Decide on, choose, select. Trevor spent a long time looking at flats before he bought one, but eventually decided on one near his work. Decided upon, choose, select. Jane spent a long time looking at houses before she bought one, but eventually decided upon or near her office. Die away, become quieter or inaudible. غير مسموع. Or of a sound. The last notes died away, يعني تلاشت, and the audience burns into applause. تصفيق. شنو بعد؟ Die down, decrease or become quieter. It was on the front pages of all the papers. And for a few days, but the interest gradually died out or died down. Die for want something a lot. I'm dying for the weekend. This week has been so hard. Die up, become extinct. All the elm trees on the UK died off when Dutch elm disease arrived. Die out, become extinct or disappear. يعني ينقرض. Some scientists say that dinosaurs died out when a comet hit the Earth and caused a nuclear winter. Dig in, start eating greedily. يعني تسرط تاكل هواي. not هواي ولكن يأكل بشراهة. تمام. فالهواية الكلمية شراها بالسرعة. تمام هيجي. Okay. Returning when so we are dug in when the food finally did arrive. Dig in, evacuate a productive shelter military. Anticipating an artillery barrage, we quickly dug in. يعني احتمينا واحتمى همزة وصل. Dig in to reach inside to get something. She dug into her handbag and pulled out a bunch of keys. Dig out, find something you haven't used, seen, said for a long time. I dug out my old university essays أو essays مقالات. Drag out, dig to remove something or someone. We had to dig the survivors of the earthquake out from the ruins. Dig up, find something that is supposed to be secret. The reporters eventually dug up the truth about the affair. Dig up, remove something from the ground. Or the police dug up a body. Dig up, make a hole in a road on the ground, etc. The council have dug the road up. Dine out, have dinner outside your home. We dined up because we couldn't be bothered to cook. يعني ما اهتمينا ما عندنا مزاج أن نطبخ. Dine out on, tell a story repeatedly that is well received. I've dined out on the story of his accident. Dip in, put something in liquid for a short time. I dipped the brush in the paint and began painting the wall. Dip into, read parts of a book, but not all. I've been dipping into the book, but I haven't read properly. Dip in to take money out of your savings. I've had to dip into my saving account to pay for the works on my house. Dip out, leave a place without telling anybody or anyone. The party was a dull. I dipped out. Disagree with, make someone feel sick or ill. I felt dreadful. The prawns I had for lunch are disagreeing with me. يعني مو يخالف مو يتفق شنو يقول لك ما تتلائم من المعدة وهذا الطعام. Dish out, serve food. I dished out the dinner. Dish out, give something usually when you shouldn't. I shouldn't have been dishing out Viagra to anyone who asks for it. ما أكيد ما حد يعرف أكيد ما حد ما يعرف شنو الفياغرا. أحسنت. Dish out criticize when you can take in or return. He dashes it out but gets all hurt when anybody responds. Dish up, serve food. He dished up a great dinner when we got back. Dive in, start doing something usually without planning. When we saw what was happening, we all dived in to help. Dive in, start eating. Dinner is on the table, so dive in. Dive in to reach inside something quickly. She dived into her bag and pulled out a lighter. الجداحة أو الولاعة أو القداحة. جداحة. Divided up, share. They divide up the profits. Divvy out or divvy. Divide or share. The waiters and waitress divvy out the tips at the end of the night. Divvy up, divide, share. We divvy up the money equally. Do away with, abolish, get rid of. The United Kingdom did away with the death penalty in 1965. Do in, kill. After he reported the gang, he feared they would do him in. Do out of, cheer somebody out of something that is rightfully theirs. They lied on reference and did me out of any chance of getting the job. Do up clothes or fasten clothes, etc. You must do up your safety belt in the back of cars and taxis now. Do up, repair or renovate. Renovate. It took them 6 months to do up the house before they could actually move in. Do with wish for or ask for, usually after a can or could. I could do with a cold beer about now. يعني خلينا نشرب بيرة. شو نسوي بعد؟ هي الحياة نشرب. نشربه وعربي ذوك جمال. Do without meant without something. There is no sugar, so we'll have to do without. Dub in. Report someone or teachers, authority, etc. He dubbed me in the teacher to the teacher. Dub in contribute يعني يساهم بالمونey فلوس. Everyone dubbed in some cash to help. Dub in pressure someone into doing something. He needed some help, so I dubbed us in. Dole out, give out, distribute. They were doubling out leaflets in front of the station. Dots about, spend time doing very little or being unproductive. I could have gone down to my work. I dozed about all night. Dozed around, spend time doing very little or being unproductive. I spent the afternoon dozing down. Doze down, sleep somewhere temporarily because you don't go home. I'm feeling retired, so I dozed down on his sofa for the night. Double as have a second function of purpose. My study doubles as a spare bedroom when we have visitors. Double back, go back to the way you were coming. When he saw the police, he doubled back and went home. Double over, bend over at the waist. She doubled over in pain after being hit in the stomach. Double up. B, bend over at the waist. That's it. Double up. Share accommodation because they are too many people. We had to double up because we hadn't booked enough rooms. Double up as have a second function purpose. Does it place the queen doubles up as a solar panel. Doze off for sleep. The movie was a bit boring, so I dozed off halfway through. Drag on. Be unnecessarily long. The meeting dragged on for 2.5 hours. Draw back, retreat back, backwards, move backwards. He drew back when the dog barked. Draw down, reduce levels. The administration went to draw down troop numbers as soon as they can. Draw down, get funding. The college wants to draw down extra funding for IT provision. Draw down to deplete by consumption or heavy spending. Gas reserves were drawn down in the recent cold spell. Draw even equalize one's competitive position. The exhausted horse drew even at the finish line. Draw in, get dark earlier. The lights are drawing in, now it's winter. Draw in, arrive at station for trains. The train drew in and we got off. Draw into, get involved in something unpleasant. I didn't want to take sides because I didn't want to get drawn to their arguments. Draw on passed slowly time. As the lesson drew on, the students started to get bored. Draw on inhaled smoke from a cigar, etc. He drew on his cigarettes and coughed. Draw out makes something continue longer than needed. The director drew the meeting out يعني يمضمض out with a lengthy speech. Draw out make a shy person more outgoing. He was so quiet for but the teacher managed to draw him out and get him to participate. يعني هذا الشخص الخجول سويناه يعني أكثر انفتاحا وصداقة بالناس. Draw up, prepare a contract. The contract was drawn out by our solicitor. Draw up when a vehicle stops. The police car drew up alongside him at the red light and asked him to pull over. يعني اطبق على صفحة. اطبق على صفحة سيارة يعني توقف يعني نصور ما بك اطبق على صفحة يعني ما أريدك. Dream of not to think. Consider. I wouldn't even dream of. لم. عبارة إثبات هاي. ولك dream of أنا ما جت لي الجرأة. مربوط حبيب قلبي. I wouldn't even dream of telling her that. Dream of invent something, have an idea. They dreamed of the scheme for the improvement and it was accepted by the board. Board يعني النقابة. مو عبالك board صفر أنا عارفة. النقابة أبويا. مربوط حبيب قلبي. Dragged up أو dredge up discover things about someone's past. The newspaper dredged up the details of his affair with his research assistant. Dressed down, dressed casually. The staff are allowed to dress down on Fridays. Dressed down, scold. She dressed me down for being rude. Dressed up, dressed very smartly. It's an informal party, so there is no need to dress up. يعني تتكشخ. Drift apart. Slowly cease. يعني like ceasefire. وقف إطلاق النار. To be close to or friends with someone. We were a great friend at school, but drift apart when we went to different universities. Drift off, start, or to fall asleep. I was drifting off when the noise disturbed me. Drill down, search through layers of information on a computer. I really had to drill down to get the answers from the database. Drill down through, get to the bottom of something, get detailed data. They drill down through the information to find the truth. Drill in to repeat something many times to make someone learn it. The teacher drilled the rules down to the students. Drink up, finish a drink. يعني مو شرب يخلص. أكو شرابك يخلص الشراب. Drink up, please. It's closing time. Drive away, force an animal or someone to leave a place. Their unfriendliness drives customers away. يعني يخلي الناس تشري من يمه. Drive back, repulse, force back. The police drove the crowd back to give the rescue workers more space. Drive by, do something out of a car. He was killed in drive-by shooting. Drive off, drive away from a place. She slammed the car door on. شايف المرأة لما تنزع من زوجها شنو؟ استدلال بكل قوتها. She slammed the car door shut and drove off without saying a word. Drive out for someone to leave a place. The soldiers drove them out of their homes. Drive up makes something increase. Don't increase. The market uncertainty has driven prices up. Drive up, arrive in a vehicle. They drove up just as we were about to leave. Drawn on talked boringly for a long time. The minister droned on for an hour and the audience looked increasingly bored. طبعا bored B-O-R-E-D ممل دي بالك هدي شوية ترى راح تفضحني. هاي كلمة صحيحة اسمها drone. تمام. The minister droned on for an hour and the audience looked increasingly I prefer increasingly bored. Drop around, visit someone often without making an arrangement. We dropped around to collect the stuff we had left there last week. Drop around, deliver. I dropped down, I dropped around the thing they needed. Drop away, become smaller amounts in numbers. The numbers of people tending began to drop down after a few months. يعني drop back, move towards the back of the group. He started at the front but got tired and dropped back as the race went on. Drop by, pay a brief visit. He dropped by on his way home from work. Drop in, visit without having made an arrangement. I was in the area, so I dropped in at the office to see her. Drop off, take something or someone to a place and leave it or them there. I dropped the kids out at school on my way to work. Drop off for sleep. I dropped off during the play يعني مسرحية دي بالك مسرحية هدي شوية. And woke up when it ended. Drop off, decrease in number or amount. Sales have dropped off in the last few months. Dropped out, quit a course. She dropped out of college and went straight into a good job. Drop over, visit for a short time. I dropped over on my way back. Drop around with someone often without making an arrangement. We dropped around their house on our way. Drop around, deliver. I dropped the papers round so she could read them before the meeting. Drop someone in, get someone into trouble. I dropped him in. يعني جررت هذا الشخص إلى مشكلة when I told them what he had done. Drop someone in it. كلها على بعضها. Drop through, come to another thing, produce no result. The big scheme he was talking about seems to have dropped through. Drone in, covered excessively. They drowned the food in sauce. يعني غطيناه هذا شايف الأكلة صبينا عليها الصوص كل غرقناها تغرق with sauce. Drown out, be so loud that another sound cannot be heard. That means like drowned or droned. Drone or drown. ما W-O-W شوي تابك. يا اما drone يا اما drown. ودراون يغرق يعني ما دخل بالغرق. فدرون drown يغرق أخلي صوت أكثر مسموعية من الصوت المقابل تحس drowned. The music drowned out the sound of the phone ringing. A drum into to make someone learn or believe something by constant repetition. They drum. شايف هذا drum الطبلة؟ عافية. They drum all that raps into you before the test so you can't go wrong. Drum out for someone out of their job or position. They drummed the minister out. Drum up increase support or interest. Drop out for someone out of their job position. They drummed the mistress out when she was caught lying. The mistress was drummed out of her post for lying. The passive form of with of is more common. Was dropped out. مبني مجهول ماضي بسيط. Drum and increase support interest. They are trying to drum up support for referendum. Dry off, dry something quickly, or dry the surface. I had a shower and dried myself off. Dry out, stop thinking, drinking, or taking drugs when addicted or addicted. يعني إدمان. He checked into a clinic to dry out, يعني after being arrested for drunk driving. Dry out, dry something fully. They dry the fruit out in the sun. Dry يعني شنو؟ مو dry. نشفنا. شايف اللي بصرة هو النوم مجفف. Dried lemon boy. Dry up, lose all the water from a river, lake or source. The lake يعني dried up يعني جفاف boy. Because of the water extraction for cotton farming. Dry up, stop being supplied with something. His income dried up when cheaper options became available. Dry up, be unable to speak. She dried up in the press conference. صحافة مؤتمر الصحافة. Dry up, dry plate dishes. Cutlery اللي هي خاشوقة الملعقة شوكة نفس الملعقة خاشوقة شوكة هذا السوالف سكينة شبشة spatula ladle هذا كلين اسمه cutlery. طبعا هنلاقي جميع كلمة طبعا cut أغلبها السكينة تمام. Said after washing them up. I washed and dried up. طبعا مو سويت نفسك دي ولا جاي تسولف عن الشخص سوى شيء آخر يعني هذني أنت المواعين والسكاكين هذني كلهن نشفتهن ف duck out of avoid doing something. I ducked out of helping us. He ducked out of helping us last night. Duff up, beat or hit something repeatedly. He was duffed up in a nightclub last night. Meme. Dumb down, reduce the intellectual level of something or in search of popularity. Television has been dumbing أنا سامع dumbing بإظهار الباء عند إضافة ing يعني. The news for years. Dumb on, treat someone badly. The boss dumbs. هسا هاي حلو. هسا اسمه dump بإظهار صوت الب. Dump. The boss dumps. طلع البي. Everyone when things go wrong. Dump on, criticize heavily, often and fairly. She dumps on her family a lot. Dump on, tell someone your problems. When he is depressed, he needs someone to dump on. Dwell on, spend a lot of time on something. The program dwelled on little, often more, little other than the scandal. Dwell upon, spend a lot of time on something. She dwelled قلنا بالأفعال ناخذ الأس ing تصريف الثالثة والماضي تمام. She dwelt upon the economic situation in her speech. economic بكيفك. Ease off, reduce pressure. She eased off the escalator to let the car slow down. Ease up, relax, calm down. She answered to ease up because she was feeling very stressed. Eat away, destroy slowly. The disease eats the liver away. Liver هو الكبد. كبد. Eat in, eat at home. We didn't feel like going to a restaurant, so we ate in or ate. كيفك. Eat into, use something valuable when you don't want to. We have had to eat into our savings since I lost my job. يعني انت تجمع فلوس، فاذا هذا شيء مقدر لك ان تسويه. شو نسوي بعد؟ وقت الماضي نستخدم هذا. صح عندك حرقه بقلبك لان هذا اللي جاي تستخدمه على مود شيء بير. Eat out in a restaurant, so we couldn't be bothered to go, so we ate out last night. Eat up, eat all of something. If you don't eat up your greens, you won't get any dessert. طيب شنو your greens؟ خضرة. يعني هي خضرة، أشياء خضروات. الأكل مالتك. Eat up, consume. The car eats up petrol. يعني استهلكت السيارات البترول. Eat up, consume something you don't want to be. The graphics eat up our bandwidth. تمام. To be consumed. They are costing us a fortune. أبوي شنو هذا أبوي بالكار؟ Disappear gradually. His life was ebbed away as the illness progressed. Edge out gradually push someone or something out of their position. The shareholders edged the CEO out because results were getting worse. Edge up approached slowly. She edged up behind the bus at the red light. Egg طبعا مو egg يعني بيض. Speaking the Joanne boy, egg on encouraged. The other student egged him on when he started arguing with the teacher. Egg out. Make someone like money last so long as possible. Most students has to egg out their income because they have so little money to live on. Embark on, start a project or venture. Pierre embarked on an M. زين هذا حرف الام ليش يختار اسمه الايات اللي او لا تنكر؟ لان الام تنكتب هيجي برسم صوتي. احسنت. مو هذا شيء نسطع له فياخذ اي ان in seed last autumn. Embark upon, start a project adventure. Fernanda has just embarked upon a new professional challenge. Empty out into something completely. Must empty out the rubbish before I leave for work. I must. Empty out, remove some things, بعض الأشياء, or everything from a container. I emptied. تمام؟ or emptied. هذا استخدام empty. Empty. والإيه مال الأد. صار emptied. I emptied some of the coffee out so I could pour more milk in and finish a certain way. It ended in tears and وانتهى بها المطاف in tears and I become or do something unplanned. We couldn't get tickets for it, so we ended up going to Turkey instead. End up with get as a result of something. He tried hard but ended up with a poor grade. Enter for join or enter a competition. They entered for a national championship but weren't good enough. Entering to become involved in or accept. They enter into an agreement with their rivals. I look carefully at someone. The guy eyed the other man up because he was behaving suspiciously. Face off. Confront. The company faced off the competition. face up to accept an unpleasant truth. Many people find it hard to face up to the fact that they are getting old. Faff about, behave indecisively. He told her to stop faffing about and make her mind up. Faff around, behave indecisively. She told him to stop faffing around to make up his mind. شو هيستخدم الذكر ولا يستخدم الأنثى. Fall about, laugh a lot. We fell about when we heard what she had done. Fall apart, break into pieces. The bugs fell apart when I picked it up. Fall apart, become emotionally disturbed or unable to behave normally. He fell apart when they sacked him. Fall back, retreat. The army fell back after losing the battle. Fell back on, be able to use in an emergency. It was good to have some money in the bank, so fall back on. To fall back on when I lost my job. Fall behind, make less progress. I was ill for a week and fell behind with my work. Fell down, fell on the ground. I slipped on the ice and fell down. Fall down, have a weak point. The argument falls down when you look at how much it'll cost. Fall for, be attacked, be attracted to someone. Fall in love. He fell for her the moment the rise met. يعني حبها من النظرة الأولى على first sight. For believe a lie or a piece of deception. He fell for my story and allowed me yet another extension for the submission of my thesis or thesis. Fall on, collapse. The ceiling fell in, hurting a lot of people. Fall into, start doing something unplanned. I just fell into my job when opportunity came up. Fall off, decrease. The membership fell off dramatically when the chairperson resigned. يعني الرئيس. Fell out, argue or be on bad terms with someone. They fell out over the decision and hardly speak to each other anymore. Fall out, lose hair already. He has starting getting worried about baldness because his hair is falling out rather quickly. Fell over. Fell on the ground. I slipped on the ice and fell over. Fall through, be unsuccessful. The plans fell through when planning permission was refused. Fall under, become controlled. At first he was independent, but then he fell under their influence. Farm out. Farm out, give or contract work to someone else. The company wants to farm out their maintenance or maintenance. Thought about waste time doing certain things. The manager was angry because they were farting about or around waste time doing pointless things. We were really bored in the lecture, so we started farting around. Fasten down, tie something so that doesn't move. We fastened it down to keep the wind from blowing it away. Fasten on, give attention to something that confirms your beliefs. They have fastened on the speech as a source of inspiration. Fasten into, follow someone closely, normally when they don't want your company. He fastened into the minister on his visit and asked him repeatedly about the scandal. Fasten onto, give attention to someone that confirms your beliefs. They fasten onto any figures that they think can support their case. fasten up, close, attach, fasten up your seatbelts, fathom out, understand something. I couldn't fathom out what she wanted from me. Fatten أو اسمه fatten up or fatten bitten up. Give an animal letter to eat to make it fat. They fatten the cows up before slaughtering them. الذبح. Fawn on. Praise someone in excessive way to get their favor or something from them. He is always fawning on his boss to try to get promoted. يعني ترقية. Fawn over, praise someone in excessive way to get their favor or something from them. She fawned over the inspectors in the hope that they would give her a good grade. Feed off, eat a food as part of an animal diet. The gecko. شين gecko؟ الجيكو يمكن أبو براس. ما أدري تجربوها. سمعنا أبو براس؟ لا أبو براس. Mosquitoes and their insects. Feed off you something to your advantage. Advantage بالجيج. He beat up people's fear of crime to get them to support his proposals. Feed on, grow stronger. The opposition party is feeding on the government's weaknesses. Feed on, consume in an animal's diet. The bats feed on insect. Feed on, get someone in a particular food. He feeds his cat on dry food. Feed on, give someone a lot of food to restore their health, make them bigger, etc. He has been ill for a fortnight, so we were feeding her up. يعني يا اخي تسرط طبعا اكيد الحمد لله جيب لك كباب دجاج. Fill up touch. هولي مولي شنو عندكم ماي سكس الموضوع. Fill up اتوقع ايش اذكر باحد الافلام اللي انا شاهدتها يعني انا حاليا مدمن افلام من زمان ترى. كان اليوم بوعد في يوتيوب مثلا او قصه معينه او يوتيوب او حتى مثلا فيلم لا اخويا باختلال. فأتذكر أليس سويت أليس فيلم بال76 أتذكره. Fill up, touch, sexually, grope. Someone filled me up in the club as I was trying to get to the bar. Feel up to feel capable of doing something. I'm so tired, I don't think I feel up to going out tonight. Fence on, enclose an area. They fenced the whole garden in. Fence off and close an area to keep animal people out. They fenced off one side of the park and to keep dogs out. Fend for, take care of yourself or someone with help from other people. The children had to fend for themselves after their parents died. Fend off, resist something successfully. He managed to fend off the criticism in the press. قلنا press هي الصحافة. Fend off, push an attacker away. She fend off the dog when it attacked her. Forest out, search or discover something. The investigation finally managed to forest out the truth. Fess up, confess. حلوة. admit something. reluctant يعني على مضض يعني انت ما قابل. متردد ماضٍ. They fessed up to the crime, fiddle about, waste time doing silly things or doing things unsuccessfully. We spent the whole afternoon fiddling about with the computer but couldn't get it to work. Fiddle around waste time doing silly things or unsuccessful things. I fiddled around with the phone but I couldn't get any signal. يعني إشارة. Fiddle around makes small movements with her hands. He fiddled around for something in his pockets. Fiddle away, waste time. He fiddled away the afternoon. Fight back, defend yourself, resist an attack. The army attacked the town and the inhabitants القاطنين أو سكان المدينة fought back fiercely يعني بشراسة fiercely fought back, tried to control an emotion to keep it. He tried to fight back but with the tears when he heard the news of her death. خبرني بالنيوز بوي. طبعا كبير Fight it out, a struggle to see who wins, both by arguing and fighting. They're fighting it out to see who will become the next CEO and the TMVD. Chief Executive Officer. Fight off, fight and attack her and force them back. The old lady managed to fight the muggers off and they didn't get her purse. Fight off, resist an illness or emotion. I'm fighting off a cold. Figure on, plan, expect. What job do you figure on doing when you graduate? Figure out, find the answer to a problem. The police couldn't figure out how the burglars had got into the warehouse. File away, put a document in a correct place, in the correct place for storage in the filing system. I filed a copy of the letter away for my records. يعني السجلات الخاصة بي. File for, apply for something legally like divorce or bankruptcy. Bankruptcy شنو؟ الإفلاس. والإفلاس فأفلس. همزة القطع. They filed for divorce after 2 years of marriage. Fill in, complete a form. I filled in the application form and posted it off. Fill in, substitute, someone at work. She has just had a baby, so we have hired someone to fill in for her. Fill in for substitute. I was away for a few days, so I had to get someone to fill in for me. Fill in on, give someone information. I'm sorry I made the meeting. Could you fill me يعني تقدر تشرح لي تعطيني معلومات. Fill me in. Could you fill me in on what happened? طبعا لما تكتب fill me in what happened هذا خطأ. لازم on what happened كده عبارة عن جملة. تمام. Fill out the form. I filled out application form and mailed it. Fill something completely. I stopped at the garage and filled up with petrol. Filter in, move into a lane of traffic without making other cars stop. The slip lane allows traffic to filter in at the junction. Okay. Filter out to remove something unwanted. It filters out all the impurities and chemicals in tap water so that tastes better. يعني كده الشوائب والكيميائيات أو الكيماويات أن نزيلها على الماء. Fellow discover. I went to the library to find out all I could about the life and work of Joe Meek. Finished completely. They finished off all the chocolates and had to go to the all-night garage to buy some more. Finish off. Kill a person or an animal often when they have already been hurt. مو hurted. ولك هذا غير قياسي ما يتغير حالته الكعبة. الكاظمين الغيظ. The animal was badly hurt, so they finished it off to end its suffering. Whether its suffering about صفت التملك. Finish up, consume all. We finished all the coffee and had to get some more. Finish up, finally get somewhere, usually without planning to go there. We went out for a dinner and finished up in a club. Finish up with have or do something at the end or at the last of something. We attended some workshops ورش أو دورات تدريبية ورش and finished up with a keynote speaker. وأنا خلصنا. تمام؟